what I can say is that, yeah, the ego or the separate self or the mind-made sense of self or the imaginary picture of myself, the construct, mind-made sense of me. So this, in the traditions, it refers to it's a setting of consciousness, basically. So I agree that ego doesn't exist, doesn't have a life of its own, it's not a something. It's not something that has a life of its own and it perpetuates itself and it's like a clear entity. Actually, it's a setting of consciousness. It's a setting in which our consciousness, the spirit, the being that we are, when it is asleep, doesn't know itself, is lost, forgotten itself, is confused, is caught up in thoughts, feelings, sensation, and the mind, and conditioned. So the being that we are kind of creates this kind of sense that of being a separate, unique person, a separate, individual, unique. There's the belief, and with a lot of thoughts and psychology around being separate and unique. Also, there's a certain feelings of being separate, independent, either being better or worse or whatever. But again, it's the belief, the felt sense, the feeling of being someone that is separate from everything else, from the planet, from the earth, from God, that being an autonomous, independent entity. So this is an illusion that is put out by consciousness, our true being, what we are, as it is asleep. Yeah. So from one angle, the light that infuses this show, it's the light of our true self. The true self is asleep and kind of creating this show of light and illusion of this, of being someone that is based also on identification with the body, identification with the mind, and identification with the traumas and everything else. And also the whole society believes to be separate, so we are in this low level in humanity where everybody believes to be independent, someone very special, either especially fucked up or especially good. And the way to go for us is to develop this ability to witness and to be more aware, more present. And we are instructed by the teaching, by the fourth way, to explore this, the most gross, most heavier aspects of the ego, and observe them, and observe that we are not that. All the big beliefs, our unnecessary talk, cheap feature. So we are trying to learn how to observe ourselves and remember ourselves, and be more present, and tackle certain very, very hardcore, heavy areas. And then also for this more presence, more awareness, we are hopefully having an inkling of what we really are, yeah, of the being. So this needs to happen. This happens usually at the same time, but usually we are not aware of what we are, and we are aware of what we are not. So then it seems like, oh man, I'm fucked by the ego all the time. So yeah, I agree with Mike. I mean, yeah, the ego is as a illusion, is a very highly sensitive entity, very sensitive and very vulnerable and very triggerable, and takes everything personally, and is important in its tentacles of trying to get recognition and approval, trying to control, and trying to get safety and security, and all of this. So any of this stuff, you will see, all of these are kind of behaviors and manifestation and thoughts, but what is important, what people usually miss, is that there is a sense of me. If you can go, when Mike, Nicole was saying something, and there was some like, no, I something, yeah, that pure feeling of I that is really squirmy or being seen or being considered in a certain way. You know, if you ask yourself, okay, who is this I? Who is this? Or can I find this right now? And then you can kind of turn, see there was that, yeah, that's an I, that's a something. That is the ego, a felt sense of separate me. And when we are more unconscious, we don't know itself, and in a second state, the ego is, I said, very sensitive, very vulnerable, in a certain way, and yeah, it's to Mike to actually have periods of just 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 focus on the present moment. You know, bring awareness. You know, the ego loves to investigate itself and to try to figure itself out and how to so that people really like me more and that people will really see how I developed. And so there's a constant kind of trickery basically. But and the ego doesn't like to just fucking sit outside, look at the clouds, just be present, just be in being, be present, stay as the being. This is what we are. And it's underfed, it's disconsidered, it's forgotten. So we have to develop more and more the ability to stay as the being, as the being. If that is not accessible somehow, which is not for a long time, you know, just do the best you can to come out of these stories of me, stories of me, stories of me, and just drop them and keep your attention in the present moment. That's a portal. If we're ever going to discover that what we really are, this is only via the present, not via imagining and trying to figure the ego out. All right, well, that's a lot.